Hi, welcome to the Manhaven. My name is Bruce Holgren. I wanted to start this group, this site, this movement because, quite frankly, I'm sick of joining Facebook groups and men's groups and everyone's talking about suicide and divorce and grief and loss, and no one does anything about it. So about 7 years ago, I decided to do something about it, and it goes all the way back to when I was 17. On May the 22nd, 1982, I was going to kill myself. Didn't feel like anyone cared, didn't feel like I belonged, and what was the point? The only thing that stopped me was I couldn't do that to my parents. I'm the youngest of four, and they didn't deserve that because they'd given me everything. And then, basically up until 7 years ago, I had to try and work out a way. No, I wanted to work out a way to try and help people not get into that space. Never feel like that. It's shitty. And even in my 40s, had bouts of depression and wanted to just get in the car and drive away. And it wasn't anything my wife had done or my kids had done. I consider myself one of the luckiest guys on the planet. It was just one of those things of, I just don't want to be here and I just want to drive somewhere. Don't care where. And just be. And I know there's a lot of you watching this that have felt that way and do feel that way. And so 7 years ago, I started developing what was at the time an athlete-coach relationship development app. So it covered goals and tasks and all those sort of fun things. But then it kind of grew. And the reason I wanted to develop it for athletes and coaches to start with is because that was me. But when I was 20, I was lucky enough to play professionally for 8 years in the Australia's National Basketball League. Lived in America for 5 years and done all these different things that are freaking amazing. But there's just that hole, and everyone's always trying to fill it. And I wanted to help others. So yeah, I'm rambling a bit, but hear me out. So I realized that when I started developing the Coach Athlete app, and it's called Goya Sport, and Goya stands for Get Off Your Ass, because I heard that acronym when I was 17 or 18 and loved it, and I thought I'm going to do something with that one day. And I realized that if I spend 2 hours with an athlete on a Sunday afternoon at training or Sunday morning, that's 4% of their awake time. What about the other 96%? And I don't want to monitor them 24/7, but I want to be contactable. I want to help them. I want to guide them. That's what coaching is. So, started developing it. People love the concept. I showed a teacher and they said we could use this in schools. And then I showed a friend who's in business and they said we could really use this in business. And I showed an owner of a men's group and they said we could really use this. So I built 4 versions of it, and then mental health started sticking its head out of the sand. And for 2 of those 7 years, I wanted to work out a way that we could have people check in with others. And as COVID hit and then as the world changed, people actually don't want anyone looking over their shoulder. The tools are there, but they're not looking over their shoulder. And so in the middle of 2021, I met with Sherelle Newcomb, who's, you'll see throughout this program, is the creator of Goya Central Station. So Sherelle and I go way back. We met at an EFT practitioner course, like tapping and matrix re-imprinting and all that sort of stuff. And we just connected. And so we drove to country Victoria and had a meeting basically halfway and said, this is what we want to do. Here's the vision and let's make this happen. So we built Goya Central Station. So we went to a house and we turned that into a studio and, the whole journey. And 12 months later, we've got this amazing piece of guidance and tools that is a self-help tool. And we know it's a world first on the planet because I've shown people around the world and in all walks of life, and no one's seen anything like it. And then men's groups started popping up, like on my radar. The universe obviously had plans for that, so joined a couple and spoke to a few of the founders, and I couldn't believe that every day there was 3, 4, 5 memes of 9 people in Australia suicide every day and 7 are men. God knows what those numbers are like in other parts of the world, but this is where we are. And it was, be strong and you've made it this far, you've turned up today, this is awesome. And it's, we were taught it's okay not, we were told not to cry, but it is okay to cry, and all these inspirational, motivational things. But there's nothing there to go, can you help me? Can I help me? Because everyone knows, well, I hope that you know that all of the answers you're looking for are within, and you need a way to go in and unlock that. And sometimes it's scary, and it's usually not as scary as what you think it's going to be. Having been through that in my 40s, I got recommended, and again, I'm pivoting here on the conversation so you know where I'm coming from. In my 40s, I was having a coffee with a friend, and they said, you need to go and see this guy. And I'm like, what for? And they said, just take $100 because that's his fee, and go and sit and see and talk. And he said, why are you here? And I've gone, I don't know. And we're in those 2 big wing chairs, it's like his little practitioner room. And he says, no, like, why are you here? And I just burst into tears. And I said, I'm a failure. I've done this, I've done that, I should have done this, and all the stuff that we've all thought. And there's my watch going off. And that 6-session time frame in my world changed my life. And my wife said, what do you talk about? And I'm like, I guess you can't tell you. And it's not because I didn't want to tell. It's like I couldn't. We just had conversations and uncovered a few things and unwrapped a few things, and it made me look at a few things differently. And after that, it was clear to go, I've beat myself up over so many things for so many years for no reason. But I didn't have anyone to guide me and tell me. And again, that's what Goya Central Station is. It's kind of a gift to go, we want to help. And then I was talking with a dear friend yesterday, and he said, what would you tell your 18-year-old self now, or 17-year-old self who was going to kill himself? And 40 years later, what would you tell him? And usually you get that question. It's like, what advice would you give your younger self? And everyone goes, oh no, I'd go through the same lessons. And to a degree, that's what I would do too. But on the other side, I'd call bullshit on that. I would say that it's all going to be okay. You need to continually ask yourself, are you doing the best that you can do? And if you're not, how do you fix it by 1% today and tomorrow? And just by being aware and asking that question, you're on a constant improvement program. No one's seeking perfection. That's totally unrealistic. And I think, that's the advice I would give. You go out and you do the very best you can, and that's better than what most people do, in a sporting sense or in this sense, whatever it is. It's my journey. It's my journey. You and I are now walking side by side on the pathway because we found each other at this point in time for a specific reason. I firmly believe that. But you and I are walking side by side, and eventually you're going to go, okay, I'm out, I'm done, which is fine. And our paths will cross, and someone will come in and someone will leave, and someone's going to go, this is just what I needed, and they're off, and they've changed their direction, and they're off to the races. So the first questions we get when we talk about emotional health and emotional guidance and all these other things is, are you a psychologist? And it's like, no, I'm not. So where this has come from is 40 years of personal development. It's getting all the best things that have worked for me from all these different speakers and amazing people around the world, books, videos, seminars, the whole lot. And combining that with life experiences and going, well, this has worked for me, hopefully it works for you. And then Sherelle's done the same. So with Goya Central Station, her background is like phenomenal. It's nursing. It's 35 years in paramedicine, like a paramedic in an ambulance dealing with people on the spot. All the traumas that deal with that, and how to help people. Self-employed, like running her own business. And we're not trying to take the place of a psychologist or people that you... I just dropped there. Did you see that? Very professional. We're not trying to take the place of a psychologist, and nor are we saying that we're psychologists or mental health professionals. We wanted to build and create a self-help tool, and to help you in the privacy of this, wherever private is for you, with no one looking over your shoulder. So take a look around while you're here. We love, thanks for being here. Whether you're here for a minute, an hour, or 10 years, it doesn't matter. The purpose of this is to become part of the tribe, for us to maybe guide you, help you, and then send you on your way and say good luck. And then if you need to come back, we're right here. So, and then, if you need to speak to someone, that's not us. That's not us. It's wherever you are in the world. The simplest thing that I found is Google, I need help now. And wherever you are in the world, all of your local helplines will come up, and you can ring one of them. Or you may have a practitioner already that you're dealing with. So what I wanted to do was go back to my 17-year-old self on May the 22nd, 1982, and say, hey, there's bigger things to do. There's more things to do. There's people to help. And yes, I could have done that on that day, but I couldn't do that to my parents. And obviously I had other plans, because I'm 41 years later, I'm still here. So that's why we've built the Manhaven. It's a safe place. It's our place. It is men only. And we are going to monitor all the stuff that goes on in here, and we're going to approve stuff, because we don't want people trying to sell you shit and, woe is me stories. We're here to support each other, and we've got some pretty exciting things that we've got planned to come down the track. But this is more of a welcome of, come in, take a look around. Yes, we've got paid things, which is Goya Central Station, but we're going to give so much free stuff away to give you guys access to stuff. Like right now, so today's date is Wednesday, November the 23rd in 2022. We're saying you can get access to Goya Central Station for $99 a year. So it's less than $2 a week. You go and see a psychologist, it's $150, and you're done in an hour. So this is 365, 24/7. And ideally, whether you need to go and see a professional or not, that's not up to us to say. And we don't want you relying on the tools for all of your mental health. So, sadly, we have to say all this stuff. We've developed a self-help tool. And the Manhaven is, yes, there's going to be memes with some stuff about statistics and things, but that's not what it's about. It's about, here's a mental jab. Oh, here's a lesson and an action step. Sorry, I can't even talk. Here's a lesson and an action step for you to take. And if this works for you, take this step today. And if it doesn't, park it. No worries. There's no rules. This isn't school. There's no one looking over your shoulder. And if you want to go in and listen to a simple lesson once today, you get the courage and you go, I'm going to listen to this one. And you don't come back for 6 months because it's building and going through your head. Okay, who cares? So what? Why not? Big deal. Whatever works for you, you'll hear us say it all the time. Whatever works for you, because when I'm looking down the camera at you, I'm talking to you, and it's literally your journey. So whatever works for you, there's no judgment. No one's looking over your shoulder. It's just, here's stuff to help, and if you want to use it, great. And if that doesn't work for you, okay. I hope you find the answer somewhere else, and we play on. So that's enough for me for now. I've rabbited on enough. So a heartfelt thank you, welcome, and I can't wait to hear stories about your successes from using and going through some of our programs and lessons, And if we've made just one difference to one person, which I know we are and have, it's mission accomplished. So we get up every day and we do the best we can in this, and we've produced the best we can, and hopefully, it's connecting with you in some way. So welcome. Thanks for being here, and please reach out if you've got any questions. Thanks. See ya.